My name's Chris Bussing, and I started my tech sales career 10 years ago at Oracle, or the Big O, as an SDR. And in the following hilarious conversation, I talked to Ross Pomerantz, another Oracle alumni that has become pretty famous because of the persona he developed called Corporate Bro that was based on his experience working at Oracle. In this video, you're going to get an inside look at how Oracle was at the time that I worked there as an SDR and inside seller, and at the time that Ross worked there. And maybe things have changed a bit, but I'm sure a lot of it still rings true. You're going to learn about the reality of working at Oracle, the funny aspects, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. And you're going to want to stay to the end of the video for some crazy party stories from both Ross and myself. If you're an aspiring SDR trying to break into tech sales at Oracle, or a current Oracle SDR, make sure to like this video if you find it entertaining or informative, and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for similar videos like this that help you understand the reality of tech sales and how to break in and launch and grow your career. And if you really want to break into tech sales at a company like Oracle, but you just need the knowledge, connections, and maybe some support along the way, check out my collection of courses, Tech Sales Accelerator. It's like 12 or 13 hours of content across 8 courses designed to help you break in. There's hundreds of pages of workbooks to translate what you learn into action, and you also get some coaching from me and access to my network if you complete the program. Additionally, I have SDRs at Oracle today taking my SDR Success Blueprint course to help them understand how to crush the SDR role at Oracle and get promoted quickly to account executive to guarantee that they join the 6-figure earners club. All right, let's get into the conversation and talk about what it's actually like to work at Oracle.
Sales are dope. Never ever stop selling. That is like the mantra of sale. It's like I think of it as the new ABC because, sales are dope. That like sales are dope when they're dope, but never
They
ever stop
are.
selling. That's the ABC part. And then the sadness is just kind of the all-encompassing sort of vibe of sales in a lot of ways. I think sales is a very emotional journey, a very mentally taxing journey. And a lot of times you do things that are uncomfortable. Cold calling is really uncomfortable. Reaching out to people you've never spoken to and try to talk to them about their business, super uncomfortable. Losing deals, that doesn't feel great. A lot of things out of your control that go against you that don't feel great. And so I think that's where the sadness piece kind of alludes to the mental aspect of sales. But sales is when it's the best, it's the best. But when it's the worst, it's also definitely the worst. No, I didn't know what I was getting to. I knew I wanted to work in tech. I mean, tech was hot. I was in the Bay Area. I had a couple friends who were in tech, and I was looking at a bunch of different jobs. A lot of people know I applied to Salesforce and didn't get that job. That's how I ended up at Oracle. I ended up getting the Oracle job, but they called it business development. I was like, oh, an Oracle. I was like, oh, Warriors play at Oracle Arena. That's tight. Like,
Yeah,
I, I
exactly.
knew I knew Oracle, the company was not Oracle Arena. I knew it was the name, but like I was like, oh, that's dope. There got to be like a cool, fun
Exactly.
place to work. But no one told me biz dev was making cold calls, and that's kind of how I ended up in it. Again, I didn't have any hard skills graduating college. I was like a very average psych major. I tried to do econ and was going to fail out of school if I did that, so I switched to psych. And sales just kind of, I don't know, it was again, like sales was the athlete vibe. It was like for better or worse, I'm gonna get get canceled here, but it's a locker room vibe. It's like a
Yeah.
high performing, like do what you got to do, mentally taxing grind. But the highs are really high, so it kind of fit with my personality fairly well. I remember like Corporate Bro was born at Oracle because I remember walking around with my buddy there, and I was like looking around this room, and I was like, holy shit, dude, everybody here is a corporate bro, like everyone. And I didn't even mean that in like a gendered way. I was just like, everybody is like a fraternity sorority graduate from some like non-Ivy League school. Or I guess there are a few like Ivy League folks. Nobody knows like what the fuck we're selling. And yet we're all like making decent money, talking
Yeah.
about a product we don't know anything about, and we're partying super hard. And I was like, nobody's talking about this. We're all wearing clothes that like don't like. We're going to Coachella. We're blacking out. We're coming back on Monday and having like a call with the CEO of AT&T. Like it doesn't make sense. So
You're exactly
I was,
right.
that's why I was like, I got to talk about this. Also, like the job was super hard and soul sucking at times, as sales can be, and so that's why I started making videos, was just to make fun of it. You know?
Yeah. I just remember going out on a Thursday night in Boston. I was in the Burlington office getting, blasted, and I just don't know how I survived the next day. And then we'd sometimes have a beer cart going around in the office, and we're
Yep,
getting a little buzz, calling CEOs or CTOs that I had no business talking to. Like you
totally.
said, I didn't know much about what we were selling. I just came out of like a security training, and I thought I was a genius on security. I got hung up on immediately when I just started
Yeah.
talking to zero off. So, but what a learning experience. And you're right, it's so broy. Like I went to a university that didn't have fraternities, but I became more broy in the process. Um, so
Yeah, I mean,
what
like I
were,
said,
yeah, go
it's like
ahead.
a lock again, it's a locker room. Like it is. It's like a bunch of athletes who are like you get really jaded really fast. You have a lot of shitty things that kind of happen to you and like you feel bad because you're calling these people and it's like there's again, it's a mental test. You get kind of like hardened, right? You get mentally hardened and you kind of it's obviously it's not the military, so don't cancel me for comparing this to military, but it is kind of like its own version of business combat. Like once you've seen it, once you've been through it, you're like, I can see who a rookie is, and I can see like who has been doing this for a while, just based off their mentality and kind of how jaded they are, their type of humor, and kind of what their outlook on what we do is. I can tell immediately who's new and who's not.
Did you ever get a crazy cold call? Like I'll quickly share an example. Like my buddy Andy Gotelli that was at Oracle, now he's at Google. He got a call, like a return call from a customer at like a drunk voicemail, dropping F-bombs and saying he would kick his ass. And then the customer like apologized the next day, but he has a recording on his phone. And I'm just wondering, did you have any crazy cold call moments or hilarious moments yourself?
Oh yeah. I like my second cold call, or maybe even my first cold call ever. I was on a splitter with my manager because
Yeah,
we were doing a
I remember
training.
this.
So he's like in the other head, like back when headphones were wired, and I was eviscerated by this CTO of some, I don't know, like mid-market company in Florida. And I looked at like you could tell, like some people, I hate to say it, but like you can look at their LinkedIn photo and be like, oh, that guy's gonna be a fucking asshole. Like I can just tell that guy's gonna be a dick to me. And oh, he was a huge
Yeah,
dick to me.
that's
He asked me to do things with my mouth that I didn't really want to do. And it was dark. It was a dark moment, but it was kind of that was like my welcome to the big leagues moment. I was like giving up my first home run and being like,
yeah.
okay, like I can survive. That was gnarly, but I can survive. Oracle gets a bad rap for a million different reasons, and they're mostly all warranted. But going through Oracle from like a training perspective is great. Like so many people started Oracle and they spread out to all these different companies around the world. And it's one of those things. It's like a bonding. Again, I'm gonna liken it to the military. It's like when I meet people who worked at Oracle, it's like an immediate bond. It's like, oh shit, so
Yeah.
you know what's up. Like you know what went
Yes.
down. Like and so in that regard, it was a massive network. And like people there are good, and they end up being leaders at smaller companies, and you like
Yes.
want a different job. It's like a massive network to work out of. And again, the training was great. And so Oracle kind of pioneered the original inside sales orgs, one of the earliest ones. And so coming out of that, I felt like I was ahead of a ton of people. Like I had the training. I wasn't raised by wolves. Well, I was raised by wolves, but formal wolves. I mean, nothing bonds people like shared misery.
Yeah.
Like that's just it works. And like suffering. I mean, it's the same thing with going through baseball, and like it's just hard. It's just all the training, the early wake ups, you know, our sales manager is like, the only rule, go as hard as you want. The only rule is show up. Like if you're gonna go out till 4 a.m., you better be there at 7. Like I don't care what shape you're in, just physically be there and do your job as well as you can, and won't get mad. So that's all I always tell people. Like the one rule: show up. Do anything you want,
Oh
just show up.
man. That's so funny. There was a field rep at Oracle when I was an SDR, or BDR, as they BDC. So many terms for
BDC,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, BDC
yeah.
exactly. Oh shoot, Aaron Montero. Shout out to Aaron. I haven't talked to him in like 9 years. He said he was trying to teach me like the importance of being able to present to an executive hungover. That is so
Yeah,
Oracle.
yeah. Oh, it is. I
That
mean,
is
the field
Oracle.
rep.
You were not. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the field reps, they're old salty dogs. I mean, like I had this field rep, Joe Donchez. Like
What a
he was
name.
so hard on me. Like he would call me when he needed something, and if I asked any clarifying question, he just hung up on me. Like he just would hang up on me. He'd be there, he'd say some stuff to me, be like, all right, cool. So I just want to make sure I'm Joe, gone. Dude, just gone. Like he was probably in his mid 60s, been doing it for a minute, and like, it was kind of fun. It was just like this is ridiculous. Like this world is absolutely absurd. But Joe's out there crushing it, killing it, and I'm just
Shout
like
out
his
to
little
Joe.
biatch. Yeah,
You
shout
know,
out to Joe where the hell you are, but
he helped you build
yeah,
thick skin. So in a way, he helped you grow. There, I had a field rep, Deb, and
Deb.
I felt like she didn't trust me, and I flat out told her once,
Oh,
like she
they
would,
don't.
and if you were an SDR or BDC in Oracle terms, that was good. It's like you could threaten the ego or an inside seller of the field rep, and you had to stay in your place. And
Yeah,
I flat out told her, I was like, Deb, I feel like you don't trust me, and she's like, I don't.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm
They
like, how
don't.
can I work with you? Like
Yeah.
it was just, yeah,
I
that
mean,
thick
most of
skin.
the job as a BDC at Oracle was politicking internally and trying to like win
Yeah,
your field rep over, or your OD rep over, and like OD is like an AE inside AE.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that also like equips you incredibly for future companies, and people always forget about the internal politicking that's required to build a personal brand and grow, within an organization. Obviously the numbers matter, and the numbers are the reason why someone might not give you a chance, but outside of that, it's all your personal brand and how well you politic internally, and kind of build those relationships.
You're exactly right. I built a good relationship with my OD reps and networked, and it helped me get a good patch. And I don't know if you remember National Tech. I was working on
Yep.
like SunGuard availability systems, which was just a cash cow. And it was because I networked. So, any other thoughts riffing on the importance of building political capital? Like, what was your experience? Were you schmoozing, or, and then I know I don't want to put words in your mouth and it's probably not the right term, but how did you network when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, I networked pretty well. I mean, like, it starts with hitting your numbers and being good, and then you
Yeah.
build the trust with your OD reps, and then you build, like you said, build the trust with your field reps. And once, like, I had a big moment where Joe actually couldn't come out to Open World in San
Yeah.
Francisco for whatever reason. I don't know if like they wouldn't pay for him to be out there, but I got to go lead a deal with Lincoln Financial as a BDC and
Wow.
closed for, it wasn't like the biggest deal in Oracle history. It was like 1.2 million, but that was a huge, like I was the point man. I went on site.
For a
I like
BDC? Come
ordered all
on.
the food. Like we're sitting there with CTOs, and I mean, obviously, like everything in Oracle is a team. Like you need the team of tech people. Like it was a big group, but I was kind of the point man on it, and so that was a huge thing for me. That was like killed my number across the board just because of that one deal. And so I was able to network. They were trying to, I had some VPs that were trying to get me to break the 1 year minimum of like you have to stay as BDC for 1 year or
Yeah.
whatever. And like they were pretty hard and fast about that. But they ended up breaking it for me when cloud came about. And so I had all these cloud managers that wanted to hire
Yeah.
me. And then I made one of my biggest regrets, professional regrets, and I left Oracle. This was right when they were doing comp, like 7x comp on cloud. Cloud was
Oh,
in
okay.
the come up, and I left for a non-cloud company. If I like, one of my regrets is that I didn't stay at Oracle for longer and follow that, push that route.
Yeah, you know what? That's an insightful nugget for folks who are at Oracle or thinking about Oracle to give it a little bit of time. Like, obviously, you crushed it, but have a little bit of staying power at a company and be careful not to jump ship too early. I will tell you that I went from BDC to OD thanks to a deal exactly as you described, that my OD rep was at a bachelor party. So I got to step in and close it. Now, I didn't go in person and do lunch. That's pretty freaking cool, but it shaped my career to get me promoted.
Totally.
And from there, okay, yeah, I blew it out of my number out of the water, taking 2 hour lunch breaks, like buying everyone coffee. It's my first time making six figures because I was in a good patch. And you remember, right? Like
Oh yeah, it
quick
was all about the
pause.
patch.
If you got to the right, like
Yeah.
wasn't that the case? The right patch, it was
Oh yeah.
territory and timing.
Yep. Yep. I mean, that was like, and that's still the case in sales. Like it's all about your situation, and people, a lot of people, they get real cocky. They think like they're God's gift, and then they leave to go to another company. They're crushing it. They're crushing it. They leave to go to another company for more money, higher OTE, and they get in a shitty patch because all good people that they trust already are in the good patches. And managers will promise great patches, this, that, oh, it performed at this level, and like a lot of empty promises out there. And so, I think at Oracle, one of the advantages, like, yes, you don't get paid that much, but you can move up quicker. And so,
Yes.
like, you want to get into management, like, you can get into sales management in like 4 years. And like, there's always openings because people are coming and going out of Oracle all the time. And so then you can jump laterally to something higher. Like, I only left because my hiring manager left, and he was like, yo, I'm getting you promoted to AE. I'm doubling your salary. I'm doubling your OTE. And I was like, of course I'm saying yes to that.
That
And then the
makes
company
sense, man.
but the company was terrible. The company was the third best of three. You've heard of App Dynamics, and you've probably heard of New Relic. Our
Yes.
company is no longer in existence, and it was bought by Akamai for like pennies.
Oh,
And
I
that was when
see.
I
Yep,
learned
yep,
the
yep.
importance of understand the like understand the product in the marketplace and like what its reputation is. The amount of times I was told, "Hey Ross, we'd love to really work with you, but unfortunately, like your product just doesn't do what we need it to do," and our competitors did. So I made a huge mistake going there. It was a dark time. I was not hitting my number. I mean, basically everybody. I didn't get laid off, but like I left, and then shortly after, like a bunch of people got laid off because the product was shit and they sold for nothing. So um, that was a learning experience for me. I should have stayed at
Yeah.
Oracle and moved up the chain.
Thanks for sharing that lesson. Like, don't underestimate the power of a strong brand and being at a market leader. And just be careful to like chase money in the short term. Like long
Yes.
term, man, it worked out so well, and you learned so much through those bumps and bruises. So that is invaluable.
Well, a startup is like there's just a lot more. There's a startups like there's just less support, right? It's a lot more like figure it out. Like you mentioned the power of a brand name. You're selling in the actually that's our company logo in the show right there on the wall. It's called
Oh, is
the
it
company
what is it again? It's oh shoot, don't
Suckle.
suckle, man. Isn't
Suckle.
the first episode like suckle up or something?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
suckle up, baby. But yes, like you in the case of Suckle, like you call people and no one's heard of you. They
Yeah.
don't know like who you are, what you're about. Oracle, it's like they may hate you because they hate Oracle, but they know what you do, which like is immediate clout. Like it's already an in, right? To try and bridging those gaps. There's like no marketing support at startups. There's no like sales enablement tools. Like it's a lot of them don't have CRMs. Like there's just it truly is a savage environment of
Yeah.
figure it out and companies scale and they'll people come and go and there's this equity component that people get fascinated by with startups. Like there's just so many differences, to startups and big enterprise organizations.
For me, just to tie a bow on the story I was telling, I did then move to cloud after a big year on premise. And it's funny, I don't regret it, but it was a shit show, man. I went to Oracle
Cloud was,
Cloud and that's all I sold.
yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone left the company or left the cloud team to go to on premise. And I got the dedication award. I did not hit my number. So I had similar pains,
The
man.
old
Like it was
dedication
just a
award.
different flavor of pain. So Oracle Cloud
Yeah.
is rough. And I'm calling like the CIO of Aspect Software at the time. And he picks up, he says, I vowed to never buy from Oracle again because I was audited like the IRS
Oh
by
yeah.
Oracle. Do you remember the audits? Can you share a
Of
little bit about
course.
that? Wasn't that comical? Like these
Yeah.
audits?
So basically the recipe at Oracle was they would be like, hey, we're gonna give you a bag of M&Ms, but and in the small print be like, you can't eat the red ones. But they didn't tell you that. And
Well
if you
put.
ate the red ones, because you're like, there's a bag of M&Ms. This is how I was like describing it. And people would just eat, right? And then Oracle would be like, oh, you ate the red ones. Oh, and then they would audit them and they'd have to pay like
So
hundreds
well
of
put,
thousands of
man.
dollars in penalties because they used these things they didn't know they weren't allowed to be using in the moment. Like, so they were very non-specific. And so Oracle would go audit people to make sure they were using, or they weren't using like more licenses essentially than they were allocated. And they just wouldn't tell companies like super obviously straight up. They wouldn't just like not send them red M&Ms. They would send them in there,
Yeah.
and the people would just not be not thinking, living their lives, eat the M&Ms, and Oracle would audit the shit out of them. It'd be a lawsuit, and Oracle would always win.
Yeah.
So
Imagine that was so well put, man. What a great metaphor. The best art to steal. I got to steal that when I talk about
take it,
Oracle in the
take it.
future.
I
No,
didn't come up with it. I can't remember. Someone told it back to me at Oracle. I was like, that's pretty
oh
gnarly.
man, whoever give them credit. But yeah, imagine like I'm cold calling a customer and that they're like vowing to never buy again. So you did have to deal with that. And that made me a
Oh,
better seller because then I'd say, hey, Tim, that was not his name, or Jim.
yeah.
It was Jim. I understand like you probably hate Oracle right now. All I'm trying to do is not get you to buy, but make the relationship 1% better. What would that take? Or like
Yeah.
something like that. And it's interesting because that guy
Little
did
wins.
turn. Yeah. And so it definitely challenged us to become better sellers for sure, but we did have the brand recognition. Here's a party story that I think is ridiculous. And I don't know, it's not really PG, but let's go with it. And I'd like to hear one of your
Yeah.
party stories. There was a
Sure.
buddy, he's more of an acquaintance, Dan. He was a legend. Like he just executed in the role and he worked so hard, but he partied harder than anyone as well. The classic work hard, play hard. And we
Yeah.
were out in Boston and ended up going downtown. And there's a place called Howl at the Moon, and you can look through the mirrors from outside into the dance floor. And he got so blackout drunk that he ended up, we're in the dance floor, and he is peeing into the window. And can you believe that? Holy cow, man. And then he shows up to work and he keeps slanging software, right? And that's
Yeah.
a pretty damn good story. And it's, I can't share last names, but do you have any like, you must, like, what's like one crazy story partying?
Yeah, I mean, it's just me. It's incriminating for me. Like we did like a team, while I was at Oracle, we did a team party at this place called Bar None in San Francisco, and
Yeah.
RIP Bar None, it's no longer here, but it was like one of those places where if you're in high school and you want to get into a bar, like this is where you go. But and we ended up going at like 4 o'clock and didn't eat. And I parked, I don't know, a few blocks away. And long story short, I got absolutely obliterated. I woke up at home at 4 in the morning, um, like very disoriented. I go back to sleep, wake up. Apparently, I came home and just like cried to my roommate. I was like so apologetic that he had to see me in just like this horrible situation. I'm like not a crier. I'm like not a terribly emotional
That's
dude. That's
unexpected. Yeah.
very unexpected. I was just like so embarrassed that he had to see me like that. And then the fun fact was like, so I got a ride home from a friend and I had no recollection where my car was parked, like none, zero the next day.
Yeah.
So I spent probably like 45 minutes going up a block, around a block, doing these zigzags, trying to set off my car alarm because I like left my car in the marina somewhere and
Unreal.
spent a lot of that day just throwing up between calls. But yeah, I had to go track down my car, cried, I guess multiple times, slept on the floor. I don't know. Like that was probably like an all-time low performance for me drinking. But it was because we didn't eat and we're doing Jaeger bombs and like I don't know. It was classic. I was 24, so
Yeah.
10 years ago.
You know what's
Right?
so encouraging is like you and I and like folks out there, we go out there, we party, we do dumb things, but we live to tell about it and then go on to, get our bumps and bruises, mature and still do great things. So, I had a guy, you know what I'm saying? Like that's actually really encouraging.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, you're gonna live your life and you're gonna make mistakes, and sometimes you're gonna drink too much, and it happens. And now I'm just like, yeah, I might have like one cocktail,
Yeah.
and then
You
maybe
keep it
turns into like
classy.
four.
You keep it classy.
But it happens. Yeah, but I haven't had a performance quite like that in a very long time, and God willing, it will never happen again. It's one of those things where someone had to get on the phone first, and someone had to fail, and everyone was going to fail, and I just was like, I was able to compartmentalize and just be like, all right, just go handle it, like go do what you got to do. But for me, I think this is kind of where the humor thing started coming in for me. Was like, how do I be really self-aware to these people that like I know I'm ruining their day is a strong word, but how do I know that like how do I let them know I know they don't want to talk to me? And so I would make self-deprecating jokes. I would call out the fact that I was a salesperson. I would say, I know you'd probably rather be at jury duty right now or like getting a root canal than talking to me, but like I know that, and like
Yeah.
here's why I'm calling. Like I didn't just call you for no reason. Didn't always work, but it worked enough that like it was kind of my strategy. And so, I think once you realize that you're not ruining anybody's day and like their life is going to go on, and sometimes they're mad, but it's their own shit they're dealing with, like you kind of just push through it. Don't try this, but let's say it's like, why are you calling me? And it's like, well, your mom told me to. That
Did you ever
that
say that?
Yeah, I did that once. I got hung up on immediately.
Dude,
So I'm
hey,
a zero
respect
for
that you
one.
did that. Amazing that you actually experimented with that.
Yeah, I mean, I realized the way it came out was like a your mom joke, but I was like trying. Anyway, there's a lot of ways that joke could go wrong. I've dissected it. It's
Yeah.
more wrong than right, so don't do it. But
Yeah, agreed. But it's funny. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation and found it entertaining, informative, maybe even eye-opening. And if you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to turn on notifications so you're aware of more videos like this that are designed to help you understand the reality of tech sales, how to break in, and how to launch your career at great companies. I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you got this far and you're really serious about breaking into tech sales, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter, the Sell More, Live More newsletter. It's linked in the description of this video, and you'll get some free resources, including cold call scripts, a 90-day SDR success plan, interview checklist, and even a free mini negotiating course. And if you're chomping at the bit, you are ready to break into tech sales at a top company like Oracle and launch your career, then check out my Tech Sales Accelerator collection of courses. I put so much into it. and you're going to get a bunch of insight on how to succeed faster. You're going to get support and extra coaching from myself, and even access to my network to open doors when you complete the course. And finally, if you are an SDR already in tech sales at Oracle or a company that's similar, check out my SDR Success Blueprint, which is a part of the broader Tech Sales Accelerator collection, but current SDRs at Oracle are using this SDR Success Blueprint to crush their role, be more effective at prospecting, setting meetings, building pipeline, and ultimately they're setting themselves up to get promoted, and not just to any account executive role or inside sales role, but to the right role in the right territory, because territory and timing are really important in sales. Again, I'm Chris Bussing, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this content, and know that I'm committed to being your hype man and supporting you as you launch and grow your tech sales career. Happy selling, happy living, and I'll see you in the next one.